Rise from your grave. Welcome to your doom. So this little video is a look at the incredible game, The Altered Beast, in the context of its contextual design. There's some facts, there's some information, and it's generally just a bit of a chat. I am talking about the old school Altered Beast game, which came out on the Sega Mega Drive, developed and released in 1988. For those of you who don't know, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up and is set in ancient Greece. The ancient god Zeus, who is the god of sky and thunder in Greek religion and mythology, needs to rescue his daughter Athena because she's been kidnapped by the god of the underworld, Neph. So Zeus chooses a Roman champion to go after Athena, and along the way he has to fight the ruler of the underworld, Neph, who is the boss at the end of each level. So my dad had an old Sega Mega Drive, and I used to play Altered Beast with him, and he used to do the beast transformation bit, which is like the cutscene that happens when the Roman champion changes from one state to another. Dad is basically a mixture between the Altered Beast in his werewolf state, you know, Rocky. He's a bit like that. To this day, I still kind of think that he might be a werewolf, but I'm not 100% certain. I guess in the context of the Altered Beast, he's kind of like Zeus, I guess. Zeus is the father, obviously, of Athena, his daughter that he's trying to save. Zeus in ancient mythology was respected as the chief of the gods. He was infamous for his erotic escapades, and the legend has it that he actually castrated his father, which I kind of believe to be ultimately the way of the world in a metaphorical sort of way, and possibly the subtext of the David Lynch film Eraserhead, but that's a whole different video. So obviously, as me and my dad were playing, we delighted in the sound bites "Rise from your grave" and "Welcome to your doom," which are obviously everyone's favorite sound bites from the game. Oh, apart from "Power Up." So enemies, as the Roman champion walks through the level, he encounters different enemies. Some of the most iconic in the game, I think, are the zombies, of which you've got two types. You've got the really slow moving zombies, which self-destruct as soon as they get near you. And then you've got the headless zombies, which carry their head underneath their arm, and they punch you when they're close to you. So funnily enough, or maybe not funnily enough, given the time that the game was made, the developer of the game, Makoto Uchida, actually had a lot of inspo from the Michael Jackson Thriller video when he was designing the characters, and I think you can definitely see it in the zombies. But did you know that the name zombie, the word zombie, is thought to have been adapted from the African word Zambi, meaning God? Le Grand Zombie, or the Grand Serpent, was the father of all gods, and it was in the shape of a big python. I mean, thinking about it now, I guess there could be a bit of a link between God and zombies, in the sense that there is a certain metaphysicality between the human form and life and death, something around the spirit living within you being immortal, something material, something sublime, something material dies and then comes back to life. You know, I'm just musing, but I think there's something there. I didn't know this, but apparently there's only two ways to actually kill a zombie. You either go for the brain or to cut off their head. So obviously the Altered Beast, in its probably quite small capacity for graphics, didn't allow for that move, but I'm sure if they could have done, they definitely would have done. So there's the zombies, and then there's also these kind of two-headed albino wolves that come running at you. It's because they release this blue orb, and that blue orb will allow you to power up, which will then make you transform into a stronger version of the Roman champion that you are. The Roman champion goes from being just a normal man and then he'll get a little bit bigger, so his muscles will get a little bit bigger, and then he will, you know, really just like bust out of his shirt, and he's really, really big and strong, and then he has another orb, and then he transforms into a beast. So in each level you can transform into a different creature with different powers. So the bear kind of has this awesome move where you basically turn into this triangle of fire and you just charge, and it just eats through everything. And I think that was part of what I really liked about the game, the way everything just exploded like rotting flesh, like everything just kind of fell apart. And it was really satisfying pulling that move while you were in the werebear body. The werewolf could throw fireballs, and the golden werewolf, which is another one, had the same abilities but was just stronger. I might be running out of ideas at that point, but yeah, you had two werewolves. So yeah, actually this is quite cool. It got me thinking, you know, werewolf, what's its etymological history? So werewolf actually comes from Old English werewolf, wer meaning man and wolf meaning wolf. So initially I kind of thought, well, that's a bit mad that the Old English people, the Saxons, had an actual word for werewolf. You know, it must have been quite a prevalent and normal thing for them to have given it a term. And I thought, actually, what else is a bit like that? And I thought, beowulf. So yeah, that was my immediate sort of internal comparison. And for those of you who don't know, Beowulf is the longest surviving and most important English text, primarily for its age as a story, but also for the fact that it was a formal record of the English language, or at least a documented Old English dialect, which for anyone who's interested was a West Saxon dialect, a random West Saxon dialect. That was a tangent. So yeah, the two-headed wolf was the one that you had to look out for, the one that you got these power balls off, these orbs that you would then use to power up during the game. The two-headed wolf in Greek mythology is actually known as Orthros. He's supposed to be a guard dog. The ruler of the underworld, Neph, is the boss at the end of each level. I do love that boss at the end of the first level, who is called Hagar. He was made of rotting corpses and muddy earth, and you can kind of see the corpses coming out in their two-bob way at the bottom of this big mound that the boss is sitting on, and it just has these endless heads which it can rip off and throw at you, which damage you, and your health bar goes down. I was actually quite scared of the game because I was so young, but really in awe of its general aesthetic. I do like the colours purple and green. So yeah, I mean, I just remember thinking it was pretty, and I quite liked the sort of medieval music score that kind of went on in the background. The score was actually developed by a guy called Toru Master Nakabayashi, who is a former Sega sound designer who composed for many of the company's arcade games in the 80s. He is also part of Team Shinobi, aka Sega's R&D department. Developed most of the arcade titles in the 80s. I would really love to be part of Team Shinobi, or would have loved to have been part of Team Shinobi. There's still time. So the developer of the Altered Beast, which as we've established is Makoto Uchida, wanted to make a pressure sensitive button to administer different moves. But apparently the guy who owned the patent for the pressure sensitive button didn't want to, well, they couldn't arrive on a deal because they were just ordering in such small quantities. So they never arrived on a deal. I bet actually the guy who owns the patent probably regrets that to some extent now. So obviously the pressure sensitive button idea got scrapped, which meant that the game kind of radically reduced in its scope, taking out all of the moves that had been especially designed for that button. If you ever get to the end, all of the characters in the game take off their masks and sort of drink beer with each other as if the whole thing was a big film, which I thought was really quite a novel concept. You know, just kind of destroying the fourth wall in the game itself, and the game's kind of played a big trick on you. With my limited gaming knowledge, I think they kind of did that in one of the Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I can't really remember how it goes, but it's especially fun in the Altered Beast because, you know, they do away with the story completely. It's literally, that's the end, and it was all a joke. It's a bit like life and death, really, a guess death is like the biggest joke of all in many ways. One minute you're walking around, and the next minute you're not. Yeah, it's simultaneously very, very sad and very, very funny indeed. On that note, I will leave you to get on with your day.